We will go ahead and get started. Okay, hi, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today. You have found yourself at the IEA monthly webinar series. My name is Lisa Jordan, and I'm the managing director of the IEA, and I'm also the executive director of the Charlotte Executives Association in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hope everyone is doing well, and those that were in the path of the Arctic storm are thawing out by now. We're excited to have our guest speaker today, Jennifer Keable, who is a member of the Calgary Executives Association. And before I introduce Jennifer, I just want to give a quick plug for the IEA conference. We just announced our dates. It's coming up in Akron, Ohio, September 30th through October the 2nd. There's going to be a lot more information coming out about that, but would love for you guys to pencil that in on your calendar and be on the lookout for more information. It's going to be a great conference and would love to see you all there. And before I introduce Jennifer, I want to draw your attention to the chat. I've pasted a link there to a Google Doc. It's the same thing that was already sent to you as a PDF yesterday in the reminder email for this webinar, but it's just a little worksheet. If you have a printer handy and you want to print that out so that you can work on it through the presentation, you're encouraged and welcome to do that. Or if you just want to have it up on your screen and write something down with pen and paper, that works too. So, okay. With that, I'm going to introduce Jennifer Keable. Jennifer helps high-performing professionals stop burning themselves out while trying to do it all. She's a burnout prevention expert, speaker, and recovering overachiever who believes success shouldn't come with chronic exhaustion as a side effect. With a background in psychology and over 20 years in high-pressure industries, Jennifer doesn't just study burnout, she's lived it twice and now helps others avoid learning the hard way. All right, Jennifer, I'm excited for this. Go ahead, take it away. Oh, I think you're muted there. Unmute you.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Third time's a
There we
charm.
go. No
Okay,
problem.
so great to be with you this afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. Today, we are going to be talking about something that impacts your leadership, your team's performance, your client relationships, the bottom line, your peace of mind, and yet it rarely gets discussed. Energy. You see, every company measures numbers, revenue, profit, retention. But how often do you measure the one thing driving it all? Energy. You see, we've built incredibly sophisticated systems that track everything except the energy behind the humans powering the system. The leaders of tomorrow do things differently. They measure the energy just as rigorously as they're measuring the results. Because results don't come from your effort alone. They come from the quality of energy behind your effort. I want you to pause and take a moment and think of a time when your energy was steady. How did it affect how you showed up in your conversations? How did it affect your focus? What about your ability to problem solve or be creative? Now, I want you to think of an opposite day, a day when your energy was low, lagging. What shifted in your conversations? Your ability to focus, your ability to perform and get things done. I want you to give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can see a clear difference in your ability to focus and perform on stable versus low energy days. Thumbs up in the chat. I see a thumbs up from Lori on screen. Beautiful. Yeah, Tracy, thank you. Okay. Lisa, do we have the chat enabled? I don't see it coming up on my side.
Yep. I'm monitoring it for you, so I'll let you know if there's any.
Oh, got you.
Yep.
Okay, beautiful,
You got
beautiful.
thumbs up coming in.
Love it. So your energy, your team's energy is a direct reflection of your focus and performance. When energy is low, so is focus and performance. And yet when it's sustained at a sustainable level, the results change. Today, we are going to work with a simple formula, one that explains why some days you and your team perform at your highest level, and other days, even with the same skills, you lag behind. And so the formula is this: your results are a reflection of how you direct your energy, how you protect your energy, and how you renew your energy. In other words, your energy is directly tied to how you manage. Your results are directly tied to how you manage your energy, not just how hard you work or how much you push through. And if even one of these components is low, your overall effectiveness drops. I want you to think of this like a tripod. Each leg, so you got your direct, your protect, and your renew, needs to be strong and stable. But if even one leg weakens, the whole structure begins to wobble. So when you direct your energy on solutions, you stay focused on what matters. When you protect your energy, you stop the leaks that drain you. And when you renew your energy, you stay fueled at a level that allows you to perform at your best. These three factors together multiply your results, meaning your outcomes are only as high as the quality of the energy behind them. So today we're going to look at how to manage your energy so that you can handle the demands of your day with more clarity and less stress. Give me a thumbs up if that sounds good. Is that why everyone's here? Figure out how to manage this energy? I see some heads up. Yes, thank you, Tracy, Lisa, beautiful. Lori, thank you. Step one, energy direction. In fast-moving client-facing work, burnout's rarely physical. It's mental, it's emotional, it's cognitive. It's the constant overthinking, never feeling like you're doing enough, like you're always behind, and prioritizing the to-do list over your own well-being, your own health. Ugh, I messed that up again. I won't take a lunch break. I'll just push through. Of course, I'm going to work late again today. I don't even have a choice. How am I going to get everything done instead? You see, it's the lens at which you are looking through. If you tell yourself something is going to be exhausting, guess what? You're right. Just the thought of the project, the task, is going to drain you before it even starts. So what if instead of reminding yourself over and over how exhausting this project, this task, this week is going to be, you asked yourself how you could break it up into chunks that felt more manageable? What if you dared to ask yourself what would make the project feel good? How might this change your perception leading up to and during the project? Do you ever wonder what you might be able to do with that extra energy? Or what would you love to do with that extra energy? You see, burnout isn't caused by the big moments, the big projects. It's caused by the hundreds of tiny moments every single day where you abandon yourself in order to serve others or maintain harmony. And every one of those moments costs you your energy. Every thought has an energetic cost. And doubt, worry, anxiety, they are the most expensive currency that you can carry. Okay, this is when we're going to jump to the chat and use that worksheet or email if you got the email with the worksheet in there. And you're going to go to section one. Section one is the energy direction. I want you to take 30 seconds. Think about a typical week and write down 3 things that energize you each week. It doesn't matter whether it's personal, professional, or anything in between. And then 3 things that drain you. Go ahead and write 30 seconds. If you don't have that worksheet in front of you, no problem. Use a pen and paper or use your computer and write down 3 things that energize you and 3 things that drain you weekly. I'll watch the clock and I'll let you know when we're good. Yeah, about 5 more seconds. Now, here's what some people miss. Sometimes the drain isn't the task itself. It's the story that our mind attaches to the task. I see some nods. As you reflect, you may have noticed thoughts like, oh, I'm behind. I've got too much to do. I don't have enough time. This client drives me crazy. Ugh, I'm so overwhelmed. I can't be keeping up this way. I can't do this forever. And yet I feel like I should be doing so much more. You see, these thoughts aren't just annoying. They tax your focus, your mood, and your capacity to be able to handle more. I want you to think about your average workday. What percentage of the day would you guess you spend focusing on draining thoughts? Feel free to just unmute yourself and share what percentage of the day, from 0 to 100%, what percentage of the day, and there's no shame, this is data, an opportunity to reflect and learn, support each other. Percentage of the day is on draining thoughts.
I
You bet
would
you, or in the chat, and Lisa, you can read it out to us too. Sometimes that's easier for everyone.
uh, I would say there's probably a half hour of it scattered throughout my day, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Sean. And those 5 minutes, they add up, right? Yeah,
In the chat, we have 50%.
yeah. This can be a huge range, right? Oftentimes, and for I would say a good percentage of people, we don't even realize how much of the day right now we're actually focusing on
Mhm.
draining thoughts. But I bet you starting tomorrow or this afternoon, you're going to start noticing and you're like, oh, that's what Jennifer was talking about, right? So here's why this matters. A client demands a last minute change. They come to your business, they call you, and they're like, oh my gosh, whatever was done here, it's not going to work. We need this to change. It's time sensitive. It needs to get done. We've got so many hours to do this. We've got two different individuals who are showing up. Okay. We have business owner A and business owner B. Business owner A spirals. They interpret this as pressure, a reflection of what of their worth, of their company's worth, a sign that them and their team and their company is failing. They spiral. They get into a negative mood, and that shows up in how they interact with their team. They're short with their client. And then once they go home, they haven't been able to shake it off. So they're snappy with their partner and their kiddos. Owner B, they take a breath, they stay grounded, and they remind themselves of what needs to happen in order to get it done. They still move fast, but they're focused and they don't leak energy through panic, pressure, self judgment, and they continue to interact in a way that fosters meaningful connection, both with their team and at home. Same event, two very different internal worlds. And this is where the energetic intelligence begins. You can't control your first thought, but you can control whether you engage in it or you redirect it. So when a draining thought shows up, I want you to do this. I want you to pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. And then say to yourself, I choose the next best action. I choose the next best action. So why does this work? Well, the breath tells your nervous system that you're okay. It pulls you out of the reactive mode. And the phrase, I choose the next best action, pulls you into purposeful action. As soon as you tell your brain this, your brain begins to search for what is that next best action. Whether you try to or not, it automatically happens. Awareness is the first act of leadership. And you can't lead what you don't notice. And that includes your energy. Many of you pride yourselves on being available 24/7. But constant accessibility is leading to your depletion, not your distinction. Many of you in this room need to hear that again. So let me say this again. Constant accessibility leads to depletion, not to distinction. You see, people pleasing often looks like drive, but it's actually self-sacrifice in disguise. Every yes that isn't aligned is an energetic withdrawal. And boundaries, they're not walls. They are filters. Filters that keep your best energy for what matters most. Boundaries. They make you dependable, responsible, and respectful, right? Think about that person who has incredible boundaries in your life. Do you look up to them or down to them? Then there's the person who's available all of the time and always says yes. Do you really respect that person as much as the person that has the good boundaries? Or do you kind of wish that they had a little bit more of a backbone sometimes? Okay, this is why step 2 of the energetic advantage equation is energy protection. Energy protection is the skill of guarding your capacity so that your best work can thrive. Because leadership isn't doing it all. It is the ability to direct it all. And one of the most practical ways to protect your energy is through clear, respectful, professional boundaries. We all have the same time in the day. So no, you don't need more time. It just means you would going longer. Do you really want that? Right? You need the boundaries and the language to feel confident to set the boundaries. So let's do that together. I have a few scripts I want to be able to share with you. Okay. These are phrased in polished business language that are confident, not confrontational. That's one of the greatest challenges that I hear people bring up when I talk about boundaries. Like, oh, that feels confrontational. A boundary is only confrontational if the language that you use is, or the energy that you show up with is confrontational. So let's walk through a few of them. Somebody comes to you and says, hey, I need you to get this done by this date. This might be something that you could say. I'd like to give this the attention it deserves. My earliest availability is, what's your earliest availability based off of your current workload? And then ask them, does that work for you? For the first 2 years as a project manager, people would call me and be like, hey, Jennifer, I need you to quote this. Can you get this done by this day? Yes, 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 right? I was that yes woman. I didn't want to disappoint anyone. I wanted to prove myself. So I just kept saying yes. After 2 years of this, I was resentful and exhausted. And so I began to say to someone, hey, I would love to quote this for you. I'm not able to do it until this date, though. Is that okay? You know what happened? 90% of the people said yes. That's okay. Isn't that crazy? We're so afraid to ask the question. So I encourage you, be brave, be courageous. Just try asking the question and see what happens. Or let's say you're a manager, maybe even a client comes to you. They've already put a big workload on you. You're barely keeping up. They ask you of another request. You might say, my capacity is full. I'll need to reprioritize. Which of these will take priority? So rather than you working like a dog, giving up your sleep, giving up your lunch break, giving up time with your loved ones, what if you ask them to prioritize so that you don't have to make the decision on their behalf? Pretty cool. Or you could say something like, to complete this well, I need more. What do you need more of? More time? More clarity around certain details? More support, so more people to help you get it done? What do you need more of in order to be successful in this without stressing out about it? These boundaries here all address when people are coming to you, phrases that you can use. We don't always want to wait for people to come to us. If we are living an intentional life, we also want to be proactive about our approach. And or sometimes, regardless of If you meant to say this, you might have been like, shoot, I was supposed to say that. Well, Jennifer, I promised myself in her workshop I would, and I haven't. It's okay. You're human, you're learning. Go back to this person, go back to someone else. Hey, I really need help with this project, or I really need help with X. Can you assist me? Or who can assist me? It's, it's okay to reopen conversations. So in a moment, you're going to refer to section 2 in the worksheet. And you're going to complete the table by going through each of the questions. So there's 2 columns. One is the question column and one is the insight column. The first question is, and these are all going to relate to a time when you said yes, even though you wanted to say no, or you said yes, but you really didn't have the capacity. So the first question, what did I say yes to? So you simply just write, what is it that you said yes to? Next question, why did I say yes? There's always a reason, a fear, a belief, something we're trying to prove that causes us to say yes if we're wanting to say no or we don't have the capacity. And then what did it cost you? Did it cost you your energy? Did it cost you a dinner with your family? Did it cost you sleep? Did it lead to greater and greater exhaustion? And then lastly, what boundary can I set next time? So you're going to answer each of those questions under the question column. And then the insight column, what insight or what aha moment can you have as a result of answering that question? So I'll give you, we'll see how you're doing. I'll see how many people are still looking down, but I'll give you about 2 minutes. So go ahead and start writing. And if you have questions, let me know. Either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. I'm here. And if you finish up, feel free to do a thumbs up in the chat. I can finally see it. Thank you, John.
Jennifer, there's a comment in the chat, quote that says, boundaries are not walls, they are filters.
Yes, yes. I love hearing the different extractions of what you guys take from what I say and what really hits home. How's everyone feeling? Are we good to go? I see a few thumbs up in the chat. If you need to keep reflecting, by all means, please do. You see, most people don't lack time. They lack boundaries that protect their time and energy. And the ability to protect your time and energy is strategically one of the most underrated business skills. You see, the problem with North American culture is that most people think rest is a reward for working hard. But rest is actually what allows you to sustain your efforts. It's what allows you to process the stress. that's built up every single day. And it is what allows you to show up as your most effective self. Rest, when used for the purpose of recovering, it's reactive, and it doesn't actually eliminate the stored up stress. What it does is it removes a small portion of what was just accumulated. So if today you accumulated this much stress and you give yourself a little bit of a break, well, now you're down to here. But what about this part? So I want you to take a moment and go to section 3 and write a couple options in section 3 for the type of rest that you can actually integrate into your calendar. So I'm talking things that can take 20 seconds, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, less than an hour, lunch break. I have some examples in there, but I want these to be things that speak to you. So for example, you can do physical rest. That might mean stretching, walking, intentional breathing. There's mental rest, which might mean just actually sitting in silence. How often do we do that? Or listening to relaxing music, maybe upbeat music that makes us feel good and get into the energy that we're craving. Maybe it's meditation. Emotional rest might be gratitude practice, journaling, connecting with a friend, being real about what emotions you've been experiencing lately, or creative. Dancing, woodworking, I don't think you're going to do during the day, but who knows? Maybe you got a really cool job and you are. Maybe it's drawing or doodling. But just write down a few rituals, practices, things that you could do under section 3. Give you a few moments. And I love what Jackie also said in the chat. She said, the only people that have issues with your boundaries are those that are trying to push them. And that's exactly right. We don't need to worry and stress out about the people that are trying to push our boundaries. Everyone written down at least a couple things that they could do for rest. Yeah, I see a big smile by Sean. Thank you, Sean. Okay. You see, rest when implemented into routine, it's proactive. And when you practice it regularly, that's what stores up your levels of stress. So you're no longer just getting the small bits that was added on from today. You're actually addressing the stored up levels. Rest is not optional. It is not just if you work hard enough, if you have the time. Rest is actually the foundation of the resilience you've been craving. It's the foundation of sustainable success. And it is absolutely essential if you want to prevent burnout. Your decisions, your emotional regulation, your ability to problem solve, these don't come from willpower. They come from the quality of your restoration. And yet, we still continue to treat rest as something that we earn after the work is done. How many of you have actually finished all of the work to do? It just is ongoing. It never ends. But the reality is that rest is what makes good work possible. Let me say that again. Rest is what makes good work possible. So instead of waiting until you're depleted, I want to introduce a simple form of proactive rest, something small, intentional, and repeatable. I call this the 2-minute tune-up. It might be 2 minutes. It might be 20 to 30 seconds like you see on the slide, because in as little as 20 to 30 seconds of closing your eyes and taking a deep breath, your brain's resting state network activates. And in a moment, we're going to talk about why the resting state network is so essential. Let's get back to the 2-minute tune-up for a moment. So what the heck is a 2-minute tune-up? It is literally taking 2 minutes of your time to reset your energy and your focus. What it looks like for me, for you, for Tracy, for John, for Sean, for Lori, it might look different for each one of us. And it might look different for each of us depending on the time of day. For some of us, it might mean closing your eyes. Oh, taking slow, intentional breath. For others, it's standing up, stretching, walking, dancing. It might be quiet reflection, meditation, or focusing on what is possible for today, not what's pressing. You see, there's no single right way to do the 2-minute tune-up, but what is involved is showing up intentionally, away from the screen, not looking at work, because the goal is to interrupt depletion and intentionally recalibrate your energy. So the power isn't doing this tune-up once. It's integrating it multiple times into your day. And I know you're busy. And what I know is you're going to show up more effectively when you integrate this into your schedule. So what if you integrated the 2-minute tune-up multiple times a day? What if you started with 3 times a day? 1, before you start work, so that you can set your energy and intention for the day. 2, midday, so that you could prevent that buildup and mental fatigue that often likes to show up kind of right after lunch or mid-afternoon. And then lastly, at the last part of your workday before you step into your personal life, so that you can intentionally walk away from work and walk into your personal life. So let's talk about why these 2-minute tune-ups are more than just calming. You see, neuroscience actually shows that when you close your eyes and take a deep, purposeful breath for as little as 20 to 30 seconds, the resting state network activates. This is the system that is responsible for your emotional regulation. This same thing is what allows you to make decisions that are in line with your long-term decision making versus reactive because you're exhausted and just reacting right now. It's the network that allows you to be more self-aware, to process stress, and to prioritize your needs. Right? Imagine that. Prioritizing your needs and not just everyone else's. You see, when we live in a constant doing mode, this system shuts down. And yet only a brief moment of stillness switches it back on. And so when used to proactively keep the system operating proficiently, you're able to perform at your peak, feel more energized, more focused. So these tune-ups are really good for managing your everyday stressors. But I know every single one of us has this base of stress below. So how do we get to this base and not just deal with the stuff that shows up every single day? Well, we want to have other self-care activities in our routine, right? So let's talk about what some of these look like. I'll share some of my personal ones. I work out in the morning 4 times a week. Why do I do that? Not because I'm a morning person. I'm not a morning person. Like, you probably don't want to be around me in the morning. But what I know is that these allow me to show up as my best self later in the day and are going to build and support my long-term health. I meditate. Do I meditate every day? Not every day, but most days. Read. When was the last time that you read just for fun? Not another business book, although if you find that fun, that's okay. It could be counted as that too. Hiking. This might sound insane to some of you, but twice a month, I take off 2 work days a month to go for a hike. And why do I do this? Because my best ideas land when I'm hiking, not when I'm trying to push harder in the office. It gives me something to look forward to. And so I notice a shift in my energy and my moods leading up to it. I feel incredible after. And so these don't actually take away from my productivity. They actually add to it. Walking. Sometimes I'll sit there and I'll try and just force myself to work through something And you're like, gosh, I can get this done usually in 15 minutes. I've been staring at the screen for 45. Every time I go for a walk and I come back, it's like that. Honestly, it's so effective. So I want to remind you that doing nothing, right? So the sitting and reading the book, of going for a hike, having a bath, meditating, working out, whatever it is, isn't doing nothing, right? When that is you recharging, I want you to think about your phone for a minute. When your phone is charging, do you get irritated with it and like agitated and kind of guilty that it's charging, just sitting there doing nothing? Of course not. You're like, yes, please charge because I need you to not be laggy like you just were before I charged you. Guess what? Our brains are the same way. If we don't constantly recharge them rather than just waiting until they get laggy, they're going to start lagging. But you have the ability to change that. I see it happening in my clients all the time. I remember my client Nicole saying, Jennifer, she's a sales professional. I remember her saying, I had the best sales month I've ever had. And I worked the least I ever worked. Like, yeah, that's pretty typical of my clients. That's what I see because they learn to use their well-being as a strategy versus something like if they have the time to do. And these activities that we're talking about right now make you calmer, clearer, and more effective. Okay. I'm going to take a sip of water here. I'm getting super passionate, guys. So energy renewal isn't only time off. It's those intentional pauses, right? Like the 2-minute tune-ups we just talked about that keep you performing at your best. So I want to hear from you. Go ahead in the chat. What are some of your favorite self-care examples or ways to take care of yourself? Breaks at work, doesn't matter. Share it in the chat. What are your favorite ways? Yes, Jennifer Chang, rest is what makes good work possible. Sure is. What are your favorite ways, friends? Playing with pets. Yes, pets know how to live in the moment and not carry the stress from every time and moment before that. What else we got? Doodling. Grant, thank you. Doodling. Breathing exercises and meditation. Work from home, 5-minute lunch dance session. Yes. Sometimes we have to do the things that are going to get us into the mood or the energy that we want. So if you're feeling low energy, put on higher energy music. Sit down, take a dance. Brain dump in a notebook, a beautiful way to get things off of your mind so that your brain doesn't have to keep thinking of them. Thanks, Tracy. Taking an actual lunch break. What a concept, hey? The government tells us we're supposed to be taking a break and we're like, no, we know better than that. Deep breathing, absolutely, Judy. Laurie says some outdoor time, even if it is a coffee on the deck. I'm with you, Laurie. Get me outside for even 2 minutes between meetings, and it's a big difference. These small habits, repeated often, are what creates the biggest energetic advantage. Okay. So together today, we've been learning the energetic advantage equation. This says that your results are a direct reflection of how you direct your energy, how you protect your energy, and how you renew it. You've reflected on what's draining you, where you've been giving away your energy, aka saying yes when you want to say no, or when you don't have the capacity to actually say yes, how you can protect it and recharge. And yet the question still remains, well, what do I actually focus on? So in order to help you better understand that, I want you to grab your worksheet. In section number 4, there's 3 columns. So it's direction, protection, renewal under the area. And then we have the column description and then your score. So you're going to look at direction, which is like, I'm clear on where my energy is focused. On a score from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest score, 10 being the highest. How clear are you on where your energy is being focused? Write your score on your piece of paper or whatever you're using, and then do the same for protection from 1 to 10. How well are you protecting your energy? And then renewal. Again, from 1 to 10, how well are you renewing or restoring your energy regularly? Write those scores on your sheet. And after you do that, write in the chat what scored the lowest for you. Was it direction, protection, or renewal? Okay, protection, protection, renewal, protection, renewal, protection, renewal, protection. So it's a pretty good mix between renewal and protection. Does that mean that everyone is super clear as to where they are directing their energy? I don't see any direction in that. Everyone, so it sounds like we're aware that we're either not protecting it or we're not renewing it, right? Isn't that interesting? Okay. We have been talking about the impact of unintentional energy drain. So let's take a look at what that looks like in our everyday lives and across our teams. So in the chat, I want you to write the word energy backwards. So in the chat, write the word energy backwards. Write the word energy backwards in the chat. Judy, Jennifer, Lori, my ladies are showing up first. Look at them go. Right on. Okay. After you have written the word energy, thank you, Grant. You literally just wrote energy backwards, smiley face. Now, I want you to write the word potential backwards in the chat. Potential. Grant, see what this one might look like for you actually this time. Write the word potential backwards in the chat. Write a little bit longer. It takes much more thought processing. Yeah. Jackie, Lena, Cindy, I see you. Grant, yes. Sean. Okay. So why in the world am I having you write words backwards? Writing a word backwards forces your brain to work harder than usual. This is exactly what happens when your mind is tired, when it's stressed, and when it's running on low energy. Simple tasks suddenly require way more effort, way more focus, and way more time. So the delayed reaction you experienced is the same delay that your team feels all day when their energy is low. Most people slow down by about 2 to 3 seconds on each backwards word. Doesn't sound like much, right? But if that same slowdown happens thousands of times a day in a tired brain, then guess what? All of these micro delays are equivalent of losing 1 to 2 hours of productive brain power per person per day. That's 13 to 25% of your day. Across a team of 10, that's up to 20 hours of lost potential every single day because the brain is operating in low energy mode. Wow. Is that hitting? Like, that's significant. So what might become possible for your team if energy management was a focus? This is one result that is incredible to witness in my clients. They go from exhausted, unproductive, overwhelmed to improved energy, peace of mind, and more effective, right? So I talked to you earlier about my client, Nicole. I have another client. She's sales manager, but she also does a number of sales. And she said to me after she looked at her 2025 year, Jennifer, you'll never believe it. She's like, I increased my sales by 37%, equating to over $700,000 in sales for her alone And I worked the least I ever have for all of 2025. Because that is what happens when you use well-being as a strategy. Okay. So what if these results were across your team? What would that mean for your organization? Would that make coaching one of the best ROIs yet? See, this is the power of the energetic advantage. And it's what happens when you use well-being as a strategy. The health of you and your team's energy is the health of your business. So the question isn't how much more fill in the blank. How much more can you do? How much more can you sell? It's how much better can you feel while doing it? Because if you focus on the feeling first, the energy first, the results will come. The most successful people don't push harder. They manage their energy more effectively so that their best selves can show up more often. So what I want you to do next is I want you to go to section 5 of the worksheet. And this is your energetic commitment. And it goes like this. I want you to fill in the blank. In the next 7 days, I will protect or renew my energy by. What are you going to do to protect or renew your energy in the next 7 days? Write it on your worksheet, then make it real, share it in the chat, and let's see what we're each committing to. What are you committing to? How are you going to protect and renew that energy for the next 7 days? Lisa says, I'd like to leave my phone in another room while I'm working. I get distracted and switch focus and need to direct my energy on one task at a time. Lisa, that's amazing. And I'd love to encourage you to say, rather than I'd like to leave my phone, I will leave my phone. That's a commitment. Yeah. Judy, say no to more meetings. Yes. How many meetings are we a part of that we don't need to be? Right on, Judy. Lori, be better at building breaks into my day, but also having a plan for those breaks so I don't waste them scrolling. There's the truth. Thank you, Lori. Lisa Jordan, I will leave my phone in another room. Seems a theme for Lisa. Yes. Jennifer, take lunch breaks away from my desk. You deserve that, Jennifer. Sean, movement between meetings, leaving the work phone in the box after hours. Yes. Right? What if we actually got to have an evening to ourselves? Imagine. Beautiful. Laura, go for a walk when I feel overloaded. Fresh air does wonders. Yes. I'm going for a walk before so that we don't feel overloaded. Jackie, stop reacting immediately to other people's emergencies. Just because it's their emergency doesn't mean it needs to be ours. And that reminds me so much of when I used to always say yes, right? Someone asked me, can you get this done by this date, Jennifer? Yes. Why? Simply because they asked me, not because I had a better reason to say yes. Until I started saying, hey, I'm happy to do this, but can I get it to you by this time? Tracy, time block my tasks, reduce multitasking, right? Science shows we don't focus on multiple things. We just keep switching back and forth, making each of these things collectively take longer. John, focus on operating at my level, my role, and choose the next best action. Yes, absolutely. KB, implementing 5-minute rituals. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. I want you each to take that commitment seriously. That wasn't just something to do, a nice to for this. You all showed up for a reason. Take that commitment seriously because you deserve to experience the energy, the clarity, the focus that's going to come with it. Before we move on to the final stretch, Lisa Jordan and I are going to launch a very quick poll. This is going to take 60 seconds or less. 4 questions. Want you to fill in those 4 questions. Lisa will let us know when we're ready to move on, and then I will keep going.
Okay, everyone should see the poll popped up there on their screen. Just 4 questions. And you can answer it. And this is our first time doing a Zoom poll, but I don't think anyone can see your answers. This is completely,
No one will
I'll
be
be
able to
able
see
to
them.
see them on the back end, but no one else can see them. All right, we got one person's taken it so far. It's just 4 questions there. Shouldn't take long to read through. Three people have taken it. All right, we got about 30%. They're coming in now. 50% participation. Here they come. All right, we'll leave it up for another 30 seconds here.
Perfect.
All right, we got 75% participation. That is maybe as good as we're going to get. That is awesome. Thank you, guys. Okay, very cool. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and turn it over back to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Lisa. And if you weren't able to finish the poll and you were trying your best to, feel free to reach out to me after. I'm here for all of you. Not quite there. You can't build a thriving business, a thriving team on depleted energy, on depleted human. The future belongs to those who lead their energy as intentionally as they lead performance. Because energy is the foundation of clarity, confidence, and results. It is not a luxury, a nice to. It is a competitive advantage. And the leaders who learn to manage it will create workplaces that don't just succeed, they thrive. And when you begin directing, protecting, fueling your energy with intention, you unlock the highest version of your potential and the potential of everyone you lead. This is the energetic advantage, and it is available to you every single day. If you would like to explore how frameworks like this can support you, your leaders, your teams, I'm open for conversation. My contact information is here. Feel free to reach out to me. I love conversation. We're all part of the IEA, or most of us for a reason. So please do reach out. But we have a few minutes for Q&A. There's always questions that come up along the way. So please feel free, unmute yourself, type in the chat, share your feedback, your thoughts, your comments, your questions. I am here for it all.
Don't be shy. Anyone have something to say? Please feel free to unmute yourself and chime in.
And if you don't have a question, maybe just share in the chat. What are you taking away from our conversation today? What are you taking away? What are you taking away from our conversation today? Is it the commitment that you're sticking to? Is it perhaps some of the quotes that my friends reiterated in the chat, that boundaries aren't walls, there's walls, they're filters? Is it
Hi,
that rest is
Jennifer.
what makes good work possible? Hey, Judy.
Go ahead,
How's
Judy.
it going?
Good.
Thank you for this. Sorry, I had another meeting, so I jumped in halfway.
Right.
I love what you have to say here, and I completely buy in, right? So when you have a small team, what would you suggest? I mean, calisthenics in the morning. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like it needs to be organic, but you know what I mean? Like I don't think that you
Yeah.
can.
I would say that there's not one thing that's going to work for all individuals. because everyone has different interests and different things that are going to hit home for them or be meaningful to them. So what I would suggest more is encouraging amongst your group to have a practice in the morning. So I'm not sure if you were there for this part of it. I'm going to go back in my slides, but there was a moment when I talked about, here we go, sorry, the 2-minute tune-up.
Yes, I jumped in right there. Yeah.
Perfect. And so, so many. The 2-minute tune-up can be used for every single, or each person in your team can integrate that. So you might share with your team, hey, I learned these things. This is why it's powerful. I'm happy to share the slides so that you can share it with your team. But these two, I want you, team, to start doing this moving forward. I want you to do it before you start work. I want you to do it at lunch. I want you to do it when you finish your day. And here's some examples of what the 2-minute tune-up might be. For some of you, it might be closing your eyes and just taking those intentional breaths. For some of you, it might be calisthenics. For some of you, it might be stretching, right? But just allow them to choose the thing that's going to work for them, because if it's an activity that's forced upon them that doesn't really land, it's not going to stick and it's not going to have the results that you're hoping for.
That's great feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for
Jennifer,
the
there's a
question,
couple comments in the chat here. I want to address Jennifer, who asked, will the slides be shared? And I should mention that we actually recorded the whole webinar today, and it'll be posted on the IEA YouTube page. And there's a link to that on the IEA homepage. So please feel free to check for that later this week and share that with employees or clients, coworkers, whoever you might think might benefit from this.
Yeah, and just further to that, Jennifer and Lisa, if there's specific slides that you want a copy of, please feel free, reach out to me and I'm happy to share it with you specifically.
And then you have, a couple of folks have commented on their takeaways today.
I'll go through that. Grant, time to reflect what little breaks I can take to re-energize and rest. And it's exactly that, right? We don't need tons of time. Remember this brain resting state network, as little as 20 to 30 seconds. We can all make that time. Crystal, reminders to myself and my team that rest is fuel, not the reset. Sean says, I'm taking away the need to continue building healthy boundaries. Absolutely. I was one of those people operating without them for many years. I hear you, Sean. Jennifer, for myself, boundaries. For my staff, I need to think about how to relay the energy information to them. Will you be emailing your slides? So I responded to that. I'm happy to chat to you more about how to relay that information to them, Jennifer. I really hope I do not butcher your name. Please let me know if I do. Gizzy or Gizzy,
Yes.
maybe?
Gizzy, yes.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Remembering to Thank you, Gizzy. Remembering to take the time to do the things I need to do to make myself feel better and more productive. Yeah, these are important things. We're almost at the top of the hour. I'm going to respect all of your time. I will go back to the last slide here again in case you didn't already get it. Again, reach out to me. I'm here for you for any of the questions. Any conversations that you might want to have. You all deserve to feel amazing and to have the focus and energy that you're craving. So thank you for showing up today. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and I'm here for you all. Cheers to you guys.
Great webinar. Thanks so much, Jennifer. Everybody have a great day and hope to see you next month for the next webinar. And if you have a great topic you'd like to share, please reach out to me on the IEA website. We'd love to schedule you for an upcoming webinar as well. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.